Greetings, fellow Protoss, and welcome to a showcase of Mika, one of the starting agents that we get on our adventures through the Chaos. She is a healer as well as also an AP battery of the Justice and Controller line. Controllers do tend to be sort of more support characters, it seems, in my experience, as she's also one of the only two characters, to my knowledge, at the moment that actually has the ability to restore or give you more AP. Outside of epiphanies, which you can gain through going through the Chaos. It is herself and Cassius. I do not own Cassius, but I have used him with the Haru, little showcase stuff that we had there as well in the actual game. All right, so what can we actually do with her? Let's have a look at her cards. First off, we start off with the starting cards. You always get these in every run you go through. Water Arrow, 2x Water Barrier, and Source of Water. Water Arrow, I tend to remove this from her, if I'm honest, just because I only really want her to be healing or trying to give me more APs, which is why I often do dupe this card here, the Source of Water. This one can also trigger epiphanies. We have the Source of Water where you give waves and also reduce stress and a few more options as well. This does not showcase all of them, because there are other epiphanies you can obtain if you are lucky with certain say effects like Nihility I've seen quite a few times, and sometimes the Goddess, she'll give buffs as well. But I tend to normally, if I get any of these, I tend to go for the first option and the fourth option, because reducing stress is always good and gaining waves is also great too, which is her special ability. As you get every 3 waves you gain, you will gain another AP. So it's always good to get more waves. Now, if we close this down and we look at her epiphany cards, these are the ones you can get as you are going through, and it's random to which ones you have. You get Blessings of Waves, which is always a retained one. It heals, and then it heals by a percentage of the amount of AP you have. So it's 30% healing for every single one. So the more AP you have, the better the healing, obviously. Tactical Analysis is a skill. 1 wave for 1 turn plus 50% healing. I always end up playing this too late because I am dumb, but it's very helpful regardless, what it is. And then Whirlpool is a 2-cost card. I tend to sort of try and not that I don't get it. It's just that I don't hate it if I do, and I don't, complain if I do get it. It's like I don't mind it either way if I get that one, just because it's attack. Once again, as I said, I tend to use her more as an AP battery and a healer than actually attacking. I have other agents that can do it better than her, so that's the whole reason. And then, of course, her unique Outbreak of War, which is Deluge, the upgrade. Every wave, you'll start, gaining 1 wave. You gain 1 wave at the start, and then every turn, you gain another wave after that. Each one of these can also gain an epiphany to bump them further. So with Blessing of Waves, you can see here, you can get cards that will increase the healing, get cards that give you more waves, like the second one. You'll gain Shield. I actually haven't had that one. Would be nice to actually get that one. Equal to healing, because I tend to run her with Magna at the moment, who is all about shields, and every time she gains a shield, she gains counterattack, which I haven't had that Blessing of Waters. I'm going to try and get that one. I'm going to do a run and try and get that one. That'd be very, very nice indeed. And then Finale. Finale is always a weird one. I'm not a fan of those sometimes when I figure out what it actually does. For those who are not aware, yes, it makes it a 0 cost, but if you use this, it ends your turn. So if you're going to do it right at the end. So it's kind of like a bit of a catch, like a double-edged sword. It's like, oh, it heals 57% for free, but it also is 50% healing equal to the number of AP used this turn? Oh, that sounds fantastic. And then you figure out that, oh, damn, my actual turn has completely ended, which is not good. You don't really want that. I prefer having the retain feature anyway, because then at least I can use it whenever I want to use it. So, yeah. And you tend to get loads of AP as you're going through anyway. That's Blessing of Waves. Then Tactical Analysis can also trigger epiphanies as well, which, I tend to sort of, once again, if I do anything, I try to go for upgrades over anything, because upgrades are consistent, so you get 2 waves and 50% healing, which is just like, okay, 50% healing all the time. You only get 2 wave for that turn, I believe, but the 50% healing is all the way through. Very good. These are all options. Every option is good in its own way. It just depends on who else you combo her with. Then we have Whirlpool, going to the Epiphanies. This is very nice if you obviously are recovering a lot. Like, it's like, it looks horrible at first because of the cost of 4. Not that bad when you consider that she also brings in AP quite a bit, which is why I combo her a lot with Haru, who is a very high cost use card agent. So you always wanted to, like, you know, make sure you got more than 3. Yeah. You're using cards, bam. You're recovering anyway, bam. You know, that's gonna come down in cost very quickly and then do a lot of damage at the end as well. So yeah. Obviously, more healing is always good. Or gaining waves, that means you get more, like, you potentially get more AP as well if there's loads of enemies. Like, say some bosses will spawn, like, say 4 ads. That's 5 enemies you hit. So you gain 5 waves. So technically, you could gain 2 AP from just a 1 AP attack, which is very, very good. Which is what I love about Chaos Zero Nightmare. Sometimes you go in, you YOLO, or you try and get a specific plan, but it doesn't always work out the way you'd like it to. It is just the way it is. Let's have a look at the last card on the thing, which I believe was... Which one? Did I look at them all? Might have been Deluge. I think Deluge was the one left. This one does not have an Epiphany. This is just what it is. So, yeah. And it's also unique. So you cannot actually hold more than 1 card. It would be nice if you could kind of dupe it, but you can't, unfortunately. Her ego skill is like, when this is used, it is a cost of... I think it's like 5, or is it 6 there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 6 cost. Okay. 6 cost card, but it creates 2 Source of Water cards, which are the, you know, extra AP and healing. Well, it just heals and gives you an AP. And they gain exhaust and retain, which means they will disappear after you use them. They won't go into the deck. But you can use them when you really need to because it'll give you the AP. Well, it has the retain feature, sorry. So it will just stay in your deck until you actually use them. So you don't need to use them immediately. And sometimes it's a nice one to use after, like, say you bring her back from the brink of insanity. It's like, oh, it costs 2. Great. Oh, this next turn I have a lot more cards coming in. I'll keep them. I'll use them then. Even better. Absolutely smashing. So, ideal partners, I sort of go between Arwen and then also Alyssa. Both are pretty good for what they do. I will actually need to sort of try and get, like, her better. I need to actually manifest the ego a little bit more now because I've got some spares here. This one's pretty useful because it just, like, Starshine Intellect is, like, minus 10% damage taken for, like, everybody, which is nice. It removes... It stacks it 3 times. It's good. And it's just, it's a good support card regardless. And then she just has a heal for when she uses her ego skill with damage reduction as well. This one I use quite often, but I tend to forget to use it, if I'm completely honest, her actual ego skill, because I tend to use them after I've used my cards, whereas ideally you want to use hers before you use your cards, because you gain 1 morale for a turn, which is increased damage. But anyway, those are options. There are other options as well. I haven't seen all the partners. There's also the 5-star partners too. But, like, these 4-star ones are pretty good as they are anyway. In terms of potential, we've got ourselves, like, upon entering Chaos, you obtain a random rare card for Epiphany. That's just the standard for all of them. Plus 30% healing of water barrier cards. Increased healing is fantastic, as always. Then plus 5% heal for Mika's water barrier if Mika's ego recovery is greater than 30. Additional 5% to that value. I haven't got to these points yet, so I can't really talk about them, but they seem pretty good. If Mika's ego recovery is greater than 40, plus 10% source recovery, blah, 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 blah. I think at the moment her ego recovery is... I have no idea. Her ego recovery is 0. Not good. I probably need to make that better. But anyway, then you can manifest her egos. I actually have her E6. Quite easy. She's a 4-star. You probably will end up getting her to, like, ego 6 quite quick, if I'm honest. Just because she's a standard one. You start off with her in the first place, and you'll get dupes as it goes. Add initiation to the Deluge card, which is, you know, that's always a good one. You can see what it does if you really need to. Like, here's the Deluge card once again. Initiation. I forget exactly what it does off the top of my head, but hey, when you get the card on the run, you'll know what it does. I can't really say off the top of my head. When Mika takes stress, heal for 200%. This effect triggers only once per turn. Yeah, she tends to get stressed quite a bit with certain stuff, but it's like, whatever. I mean, they all take stress, so having like a free heal, honestly, is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty helpful. Just the basic one, just increases the level of potential for, like, you know, the basic cards, neutral card, and unique cards. On Ego 4, you add Retain to source of water created by the Surge card, which is very nice. Obviously, I don't think originally the actual Ego has that, but whatever. It's very nice to obviously have the option to keep them, so yeah. That's just another upgrade as well. And then at number 6, the start of battle, gain 2, which is, yeah, very nice. The Surge card itself is not even in here. It's got to be this one, hasn't it? This is the Surge card. So you actually get that, what I mentioned before with the Retain, when you actually have her at, like, E5, I think it was. So my bad on that. I will state that. If you watched this far, I do apologize. But I mean, like, either way, you'll want to use them almost immediately for the heals and the AP, regardless, if you can do. But when you get her to E5, you have the option to not use them immediately, which is always good. But anyway, that is Mika. Ideally, I use her. You can use her in almost any team you want to use her in. I use her personally with other Judgment characters who seem to have the higher costing cards, so she can work well with Beryl if you want her to. She works quite well with, obviously, Magna is also Haru. Haru especially, because Haru has quite a lot of high cost cards. Magna, not so much. She can kind of get like a few here and there, but like at some points when you're like kind of got loads of cards going at once, you kind of want to use them all. So it's like, yes, it's always good to have more AP than less AP, since you only start with 3 of them. My main team that I use quite a bit is Mika, Tressa, and Magna. Absolutely freaking amazing with their synergy, and I need to try some other ones as well. So far, they're working well for me. You have like Mika with the heals and the AP, keeping everyone alive. You have Magna, who's just got all the counter attacks in the world and the shields. And then you have Tressa, who's just with the agony and all thrown in. And that's 2 4-stars and a 5-star. Like, every unit I have tried so far has been great. So, you know, just experiment and try them all out. But anyway, thank you very much for watching if you got this far. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying Chaos Zero Nightmare. Check us out on twitch.tv/Wobsy and our other socials as well. And yeah, I'll see you in the Chaos, Commanders. I will do. Or the Protoss. Whatever you want to go by these days. You know, it's all good. And remember, Owen loves you just like he loves everybody else.